1, 2, 3, 4.
Screen time, screen time, screen time, screen time.
It's my screen time too.
Screen time.
Hello, and welcome to It's My Screen Time Too, the podcast where we review the programming the other critics ignore. Stuff made for kids. Find out what to watch for family movie night, what to avoid altogether, and what you'll want to watch alone voluntarily. I'm Katie.
And I'm Deborah.
And I have 2 kids, ages 8 and 5.
And I have 3 kids who are 13, 11, and 11.
Welcome to a Screen Time in the News episode for the week of June 12th, 2024. Back in December, we discussed all of the holiday movies that deserved our screen time, and it was such a fun thing that we're doing it again for the summer. So let's go through the summer movies chronologically by release date. We're almost halfway into June now, so some of these early movies have already come out. If you live somewhere where the school calendar ends summer at the beginning of August, like I do, maybe your summer's almost over. But for our purposes, we're trekking through Labor Day, as children of the 80s know it should be. Deborah, do you want to quickly share where you pulled the rundown of these movies from? Extra points if it's a paper copy of a women's magazine.
An article titled 23 Summer Movies to Watch in 2023 from Vanity Fair, which I just read online, not in the print edition. And then an AP News Summer Movie Guide. And I wrote all of the summer movies, but this is just the ones focused for families or suitable for families, because there are lots and lots of movies. You'll see, listeners, not as many geared towards families or our 4-quadrant audiences.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure if I read the actual text of the summary that we knew where it was coming from and that it wasn't actually coming from my beautiful brain. All right, so let's start with If, which arrived in theaters on May 17th, and we already reviewed in our last review episode. So listeners, take a couple episodes back and go listen to that if you're interested on our thoughts on If. On the same day, on Netflix, the movie Thelma the Unicorn dropped, which is an animated film about a pony whose dreams of becoming a pop star come true, and was written by the Napoleon Dynamite duo Jared and Jersha Hess. According to my 5-year-old, it's based on a popular children's book, but I have not confirmed that.
Yeah, it was only in watching the trailer for this that I realized Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes voices and sings Thelma's parts, which I'm sold. I am going to watch this after we are done recording.
The sung portions do sound beautiful, but I have to admit you kind of lost me at the Napoleon Dynamite duo because I really hate that movie.
Fair.
All right, so May 24th, Memorial Day weekend, Garfield came out. We just reviewed it in our previous episode, so go listen to that. Moving on to May 31st, we've got The Young Woman in the Sea, which, oh my goodness, was this giving you Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken vibes?
This looks really good.
Yeah. So this one stars Daisy Ridley, you know her as Rey from Star Wars, who plays the first woman to swim across the English Channel, Trudy Etterly, who won gold at the Olympics in 1924 and who finished the 21-mile trek in 1926. It looks just as inspirational as you might imagine.
And I've never heard of this woman before. Have you?
Nor had I.
I've only heard of, probably because she's American, Esther something. Like, she's the only famous swimmer I know of.
It definitely looks like it'll be a fun one. And Kenny was sitting behind my shoulder as I was watching the trailer, and even he said he thought it looked good, which that's great. If I can take my 5-year-old to an inspirational sports movie, I'm all for it. And then we also have the Jim Henson biopic. Jim Henson Idea Man dropping on Disney Plus, in which Ron Howard takes us inside the mind of the man behind The Muppet Show and countless other entertainments. It looks fascinating, but maybe a hard sell for kids. What do you think?
So I had my parents over to watch with me and my kids the We Are the World documentary. And that was super fun, multi-generational viewing. So I think this one could be that for my family. I'm not sure my kids will stick around to watch the whole thing, but this could be parent-child screen time for me and my parents.
I also think it probably depends on how familiar your kids are with the Muppets. We keep banging on about how they keep trying to introduce the Muppets to a new generation, and it keeps failing utterly. But if you've had success with your kids and they somehow have developed a fondness for Kermit and Miss Piggy, then this could possibly be a good pick, I think.
Yeah.
So one more in the this came out before we recorded category, and it is definitely questionable, so I'm going to say it. To me, this is not a family movie, but we've got Bad Boys Ride or Die coming out on June 7th with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. This is rated R, but it's a long-running movie franchise. Maybe it's something that, like, parents may have introduced to their kids as something they loved growing up. I don't know. What's your take on this one?
My take is that Will Smith is a family movie actor. I don't know. It's been decades since I saw Bad Boys, so it's probably not appropriate, but I mean, I think I said 13, but he's actually a 14-year-old, so we're at the R movie stage in my house, so maybe we'll watch this one.
I just think there are so many better action franchises to introduce kids to this genre. I would never reach for Bad Boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would probably go Die Hard franchise before Bad Boys, but all right. June 14th, we've got Inside Out 2. We will be reviewing this one in our next episode, but just to get you up to speed, Riley, the girl from Inside Out, is a teenager now, and some new emotions are coming onto the scene to join Joy and the gang, including anxiety, envy, ennui, and embarrassment. We just rewatched the original because we've been seeing all these previews for Inside Out 2, and Kenny, my youngest, expressed interest in seeing the original. I had forgotten how good it was because this movie is like 9 years old.
It's a really good movie. I feel like the only bad thing about this movie is I feel like I've maybe seen all the good parts because it's been so heavily trailered, and we've seen, I don't know, I've been to the movie theater like 3 times in the last couple months. And when we saw Garfield, there were 2 separate previews for Inside Out 2.
Yeah, because Pixar has a lot of hopes pinned on this. I mean, Elemental had a nice long tail last summer, made some movie for them, but isn't like universally considered a hit. So this is kind of what they're pinning their hopes on to kind of reclaim that Pixar crown. And you can kind of see the sweat in the marketing. Like they really have a lot of hopes for this. The original teaser trailer that came out had the wrecking crew coming into Riley's brain and reconfiguring the console, and then Anxiety appears and says, "Hi, I'm Anxiety. Oh, we were hoping to make such a good impression." And then Disgust says, wait. I thought that was a really successful teaser, and I wish they would have left it there to like wait and introduce us to the new emotions as a surprise when we saw the movie. But now we've all seen them. We've gotten gags with them. We've gotten cutaways to Riley's weird teenagerhood. So I don't know. You're right. We may have seen all the good stuff in the trailer. I'm also wondering how a movie that's primarily about puberty is going to play with younger kids.
Yeah, Turning Red was good, though, and multi-layered.
I loved Turning Red, but my kids never want to rewatch it, you know?
Oh, okay.
We'll see. We're definitely watching it. We're going to cover it. I'm still excited to see it for sure. Moving on to the 4th of July weekend, we have the juggernaut of the season, I feel safe in saying, Despicable Me 4, in which Gru and the Minions are back with a new baby in the mix. I know we've said positive things about trailers for this before. Are you excited about the 4th installment?
Excited, but I feel it's very similar to Inside Out 2. I feel like I've seen all the funny parts in trailers already.
Yeah, it's a long
I'll still
trailer.
Definitely go see.
And it's also, what, the 7th in this franchise? If you add the Despicable Me and the Minions together, I just feel the tiniest bit exhausted. But again, we will be seeing it. We will be covering it. We won't let you down. This next one, PG-13. So maybe questionable, but maybe not if you've got tweens or young teens. This one is called Space Cadet, and it's slated to stream on Prime Video. and Emma Roberts plays a woman who embellishes an application and lands in NASA's astronaut training program. This sounds really fun, but I have to admit, when I was Googling around about it, I could not find any information. And I know Amazon Prime is known for being a horrible marketing machine, but seriously, not even there. No trailers, nothing.
Yeah, it's possible this won't really come out 4th of July weekend. I mean, we've had stuff on our watch list before that, I mean, the schedule gets changed.
It's true.
So,
it does seem like a fun premise, kind of like The Good Place in space.
totally.
Yeah. All right, July 12th, we've got Descendants Rise of Red, the latest installment in the Descendants franchise, which this would be a number 4 as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So this franchise has largely passed us by, but it seems like this is their attempt to extend it beyond the core cast. I love Disney Channel original movies, so can we review this, please?
Yeah, I like the soundtrack to all the Descendants movies, so I'm looking forward to this one for just the music.
Yeah, we usually do one a summer, so this seems like a good one to slate into our schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to July 19th, we've got another PG-13 entry in Twisters, which I have a really long summary here, but I kind of think the title says it all. This is a sequel to the 90s movie Twister, although not with any of the same cast. It just seems, again, like an opportunity to put an existing IP over unrelated storyline. But it's about two people who hunt even bigger tornadoes that sometimes come in pairs, is what I got from the trailer. Are you excited for this one?
I have mixed feelings. Okay, where you grew up in Wisconsin, is that in Tornado Alley?
It's not in Tornado Alley, but we definitely had tornado watches quite a bit, had to go to the basement, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up in southwestern Minnesota, which is like used to be kind of the top end of Tornado Alley. I'm sure Tornado Alley is bigger now with climate change, but so it was like real, like people's farms got leveled by tornadoes where I lived, and it was like you had to like actually heed the warnings because they were real things. And like now that climate change, extreme weather is even worse, this one terrifies me. I'm not sure I really liked Twisters when it came out, like the original Helen Hunt one, but I'm not sure I want to see this because it's like too scary because it's too real.
Does it feel at all flippant to you? Because it definitely feels like they're kind of on a fun romp in which they get to like screw their Jeep into the ground so they don't get swept away by the twister.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see. Well, I'll probably end up seeing it. It would probably be a fun one to see in the theaters because of the special effects and the actual twisters. But I don't think my kids, I think they're too young and I don't think they'd have any interest. So it'll probably be after the kids go to bed on the television watch for us. July 26th, we have another R-rated entry on the list, but it was kind of hard to escape because we've got Deadpool and Wolverine coming, and it is the only MCU movie coming out this summer. And it's the only MCU entry since the Marvels. Again, we are talking about Pixar pinning all its hopes on Inside Out 2. It kind of feels like Marvel is pinning all its hopes on this hard R-rated comic book movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. So, I just did an MCU rewatch with the kids, but obviously we skipped all of the Deadpool movies. I will be skipping this movie with them because I just don't feel like they're anywhere near ready for this level of R-rated comedy. But are you looking at this as a potential family entry this year?
Absolutely not. But some of these I included just because it felt like it was going to be too short because there weren't that many kids movies. Like the next one, Borderlands.
I am not a video game person, as you have all heard in this space, so I had not heard of this before. I watched the trailer. It was a pretty fun trailer, but it looks a lot like the Guardians of the Galaxy to me. What did you think?
I don't really know anything about this, but I liked The Last of Us way more than I expected to. So I'm open to film and television based on video games after that. And then Fallout, Tony's watched that with his friends and he's really enjoyed that. So
I also
maybe.
like the idea that it would appear that like the sexy video game heroine is being played by Kate Blanchett, which I kind of
Mm,
like that they've aged that character up. I don't know what like the backstory is in the video game, but it's nice to see
right,
a middle-aged lady being able to be the sexy heroine. I'm down for that.
right.
But I don't think I'll be playing this one for my kids anytime soon. Which brings us to August 2nd, when Harold and the Purple Crayon premieres. You likely know this book from your children's infancy, and in this movie version, Harold goes into the real world and can create things with his purple crayon in reality, and also he is played by a grown-up Zachary Levi. Does that seem like a decent summary from the trailer?
Yeah, I just saw this trailer before the Garfield movie, and before I saw the trailer, I was like, how are they gonna make a whole movie based on this book? But it looks really fun. I think I want to see it.
I just think the whole charm of Harold and the Purple Crayon is that all the action takes place in Harold's imagination, and it's about all the things he can do with his crayon in his imagination. So to me, moving the action to the real world kind of kills that charm. Although that said, Kevin loves Zachary Levi, so we will definitely see it.
Yeah, it looks fun for kids who maybe grew up reading that book and then had like the fantasy, what if I could draw whatever I want? Because that's looks like that's kind of the premise of the movie.
Understood. Understood. So we will most likely be seeing this and covering it for the show again. So
Hmm.
look out for that in August, friends. And then August 9th, we have My Penguin Friend, which is based on a true story about a fisherman who finds hope in a penguin rescued from an oil spill. We also saw a trailer for this in front of the Garfield movie. This one is PG, but it looks to me way too slow for my kids' ages. I don't know. What did you think? Did you see a trailer for this one?
It's probably another bummer climate change movie, but I like the premise. It sounds adorable.
It also kind of looked like one of those movies about the family that moves away and leaves the dog behind, and the dog like walks across country to find the family. Like it had definitely had those vibes to me as well.
Yeah.
And then August 16th, Deborah, I can't help but notice that you did not include this on your rundown, but I just have to give it a shout out too. We've got Ryan's World, the movie, Titan Universe Adventure, coming to theaters August 16th.
I don't think that was in either one of these articles, but I did just see a trailer for that before Garfield, and it looks so bad. So bad. I'm sorry, Ryan. Doesn't he have enough money? I suppose he's like one of those people in the entertainment industry who like he is an industry unto himself, and so his people can't say no to stuff because that means their livelihood. But this looks like a bad choice.
I mean, alternatively, Ryan is a teenager now, and I just think they're like, we gotta get every drop out of this while we can because the money train has got to stop sometime soon. So they're trying to do
isn't he
everything.
like a bazillionaire?
I'm sure, but like, you don't want to stop making that kind of money once you've started. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm saying I kind of
Don't
see where it's
you?
coming from.
If I was a bazillionaire, I would just buy some annuities and then just coast for the rest of my life. Learn to say enough, people.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like Ryan is going to be appearing much in this movie, similar to his YouTube content. He is kind of just like, he's there to set something up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they switch to an animated version of Ryan, which looks much closer to his younger self when he first found success. Anyway, in all likelihood, I will be seeing this at least with my 5-year-old. I think my 8-year-old might be a little on the old side, but Kenny still has a lot of fondness for Ryan. And
Okay.
I can see this being high on his list for sure. All right. And our last entry, technically post Labor Day, we've got September 6th, Beetlejuice 2. It's been more than 35 years since the original Beetlejuice came out. And I was just shocked at the happy thrill that ran up my spine when I saw this trailer before the Garfield movie, especially as a noted Tim Burton hater. I am totally on board with this, although I do feel like my kids are too young.
And it's really fun that so many of the original cast members are going to be in it. I just rewatched this one and then wrote about it in our newsletter, which you can read at myscreentime2.com, listeners. So it was really fresh in my mind, and I'm excited. And I love that Jenny Ortega is like the new Winona Ryder
Yeah.
/ Christina Ricci. It's so cute.
She really is riding that like vaguely goth teenage train.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our rundown of summer family movies. Deborah, I'm going to argue with you that I feel a little exhausted by this schedule of seeing movies in the theater. Maybe it's just because I've done less of it in my kids' lives, but the fact that we did If, and then almost immediately after Garfield, and then almost immediately after Inside Out 2, and then almost immediately after Despicable Me 4, and then almost immediately after Harold and the Purple Crayon, like for us, that's going to be a lot of movies in the theater all in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So we've definitely had lighter summers in terms of kids' content.
So I know we've been to the theater a lot. Are your kids watching anything else besides that? Are you watching anything else with them on the TV, the small screen?
I did mention our very successful rewatch of Inside Out, which I will just put another plug in for here. It was a lot of fun, and my 5-year-old loved it. So
yeah, I'm kind of looking for like a reality show for the summer, not American Ninja Warriors, but something, or Lego Masters, but something like that we can just tune in once a week. I think that would be fun. I don't think this is appropriate for my kids, but I just learned that my favorite podcaster, John Lovett from Love It or Leave It, Pod Save America fame, is going to be on Survivor. I'm so excited for that.
He looks so charming in the trailer, but it doesn't come out till September, I don't think. So we'll have to wait till after the summer for that one.
So what's on your watch list? This can be like a TV show you're watching, or I have included a few movies that if we lived in the same city, I would say, let's go out for a drink and then see a movie afterward, Katie.
Oh, Kevin and I went to see The Fall Guy in theaters, better late than never. And there was a trailer before The Fall Guy for what looks like a very charming movie called Thelma that's coming out, I think, just next week. Have you heard of this movie?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's about a grandma in her 90s that gets scammed by like a deep fake voicemail, and she vows to get her money back and get revenge. So it's like her exploring the underworld on her little like what is the name for the motorized scooters? They've got like a brand name.
Segway?
No. Like the wheelchair scooters.
I don't know.
Anyway, she is taking on the underworld in her little grandma way, and it just looks very charming. And it co-stars Parker Posey and Clark Gregg, which I think would make a fun combo. I'm looking forward to that one. And I'm also looking forward to the rom-com with Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson that's coming out in the middle of July called Fly Me to the Moon.
Yes, that looks really fun.
So those are the summer movies that are on my grown-up watch list. How about you?
I want to see Babes with Ilana Glazer and Michelle Buteau, which came out mid-May. And I'm tired of the pregnancy plot. I don't care about that, but this looks really fun. I like both of those actors. And then I want to see The Fabulous Four because Megan Mullally is in it, and she's not in a lot of stuff, and she's one of my favorite actors.
It's true. And it takes place in Key West, so little Florida representation there.
Yeah, the logline is that lifelong friends go to Key West for a wedding. The college pal is played by Bette Midler.
Also haven't seen her in a while.
And then I want to see It Ends With Us, which is based on a Colleen Hoover novel. I have not read any Colleen Hoover books. That's not the type of books that I like to read. But I could commit to a movie version of the book because I just want to see like what it's all about. And it's got Serena van der Woodsen, like Lively, starring in it. It looks good. Jenny Slate. Do you like her?
I do.
Not?
I like Jenny Slate a lot.
Did you see her comedy special?
I didn't. Is it going to make me not like her?
It was a little too raunchy for me, but she's a funny lady.
She is a funny lady, and I recognize that my tolerance for raunch is maybe lower than a lot of people's, so Could just be me, Jenny. I'm sure you're killing it.
Well, listeners, tell us what you're looking forward to for the summer, what you've seen, what you've liked, what you will never watch again alone voluntarily. And thank you for listening to this episode of Screen Time in the News on It's My Screen Time Too. Next week, we'll be back with a review of Inside Out 2. If you enjoyed our show today, please recommend the show to one friend you think would enjoy it too. We love growing our community of parents for sanity in screen time. Never want to miss our up-to-the-minute thoughts about screen time? You can subscribe to updates at myscreentime2.com. Tune in next time for more real talk about the movies and TV we watch with our kids because we have to and sometimes because we like to.
Bye.
Bye.
Screen time, screen time, screen time, screen time.
Screen time.